Hi, everybody. I'd like to talk a little bit about the process known as the OODA loop. Now, if you've been in martial arts for a little while, you may have heard the term OODA loop before. It's a concept that was originally designed for the military and outlines how we respond to new stimuli. Okay, so OODA stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, Act, which essentially means we detect a change in our environment, right? So a new stimulus has appeared. We then orient ourselves, so we try and place that stimuli in relation to what we already know based on our experience and bias. We then decide what we need to do, and then we do it. All that works really, really well and good. But there are a couple of problems with the OODA loop that are worth mentioning. The first one is that it requires cognitive function. Okay, so if we go back to the analysis of System 1 and System 2, thinking based on Dan Kahneman's work, right, where System 1 is the subconscious, intuitive thought processes that we have, and System 2 is the conscious, rational thought process that also take a lot of time and effort. OODA loop essentially falls into System 2, right? It means when something happens, we have to think about what is the best way to respond and then act, and that takes time. In the context of self-defense, for the most part, we don't have that time, right? What that means is unless you've done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of good repetitions, for the most part, when something happens, your first response will be like an instinctive flinch response. Once you've done that, you might have the clarity of mind to actually go through the OODA loop cycle and try and assess. So there's a couple of important things that we have to keep in mind to make that more effective for us, or lessons that we can learn from this. The first one is that we have to get those thousands of repetitions in, and they have to be correct repetitions. Okay, the faster we get through that, the better. That's number one. Number two is, and that kind of relates to that, is we have to program our System 1 to be able to respond or react correctly to new stimulus. Okay, that's done through repetition. It takes time. The last part of that, which is really probably the most important, is initiative is crucial, right? If we are always on the back foot when a situation happens, right, then we will inevitably have that flinch response. The same thing applies to self-defense as it applies to business or any other aspect of your life, right? If you have a resilient, proactive mindset where you're constantly scanning your environment, program yourself correctly, assessing what the situations are, when something is happening, you're already aware you can make those decisions. When you're caught unaware, that's a lot of time where the OODA loop process will fail you. It will go straight to act, right, which is your flinch response, and then you will have to start the cycle. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any problems.